Hey guys, Colin here, checking in from sunny Winnipeg, Manitoba, partly cloudy Winnipeg, Manitoba right now. I'm just south of downtown Winnipeg in my backyard. For my video term project, I've decided to go over some of the reasons why I've chosen 𝘴𝘢𝘤𝘬𝘳𝘓 Silver Cloud as my cultivar of choice for my backyard shade tree this summer. A brief history of this tree. This is a rescue tree from a local nursery just south of the city here. The root ball got a little bit damaged during transportation, so the manager of the nursery told me that if I could bring it home, I could give it a shot. So I opened up the package, shook out the root ball, pruned off some adventitious roots, wrapped it in a bag, brought it home, and I bare root planted it in my backyard here. I'm going to try to frame my reasoning for choosing this tree around its botanical functions and structures as best as I can, as I know this is a botany class and a botany project, so we'll try to keep it as relevant as we can. I'll start with the hardiness and the form. Like I said, we're in a zone 3A here. If you do a cursory search on silver cloud maple, you'll find that they're typically a zone 4 tree, but I'm thinking that they're probably bred locally and have a little bit of that northern vigor in them that makes them a little bit more capable of withstanding our harsh winters, because these are very prevalent trees around Winnipeg. I see them everywhere. They flourish here, and they are just beautiful. They are a little bit prone to fungal disease. I'm not super concerned about that here in Winnipeg, where it's very dry all year round. We don't get a ton of rain. I'm not super concerned about fungal disease with this tree, to be honest. If you live in a more humid climate, you might consider, if you want one of these trees, pruning off some of these interior branches as this tree matures and leafs out and gets a nice full canopy. You can prune off some of those interior branches, let a little bit more air flow through, kind of reduce the risk of those fungal spores spreading around. They're super easy to prune with the opposite branching. I find these lend themselves to very symmetrical pruning for form and function, whatever you need. I'll probably end up taking this branch off at some point because it's growing towards my path where the camera is set up. But I'm gonna give it a few years to establish before I do something like that. These trees are very fast growing. One of the main questions I was going to approach with my project here is why. Like, why maples tend to sprout and grow so much faster than other woody plants under similar growing conditions. They seem to grow quite a bit quicker relative to many other woody plants around Winnipeg. I'm wondering if maybe it's has to do with the auxins produced at the 𝘴𝘢𝘤𝘬𝘬𝘳 stem. I'm not sure if the cells are just dividing faster, or if the auxins produced at the 𝘴𝘢𝘤𝘬𝘬𝘬𝘳 stem just have a higher concentration of indole acid to lengthen and strengthen and lignify all those cells at a faster rate than relative to other woody plants. But I'm not entirely sure about that. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on that. Yeah, its fast growth should provide me quite a bit of shade quite quickly, which was my whole prerogative for planting this tree, to be honest. I wanted a nice shade tree back here. It gets scorching hot being full sun. It gets just piping hot back here, and I need a little bit of shade, a little bit of a reprieve. I think that'll be a boon to the microclimate I'm trying to cultivate in my backyard here, and a boon to the mesoclimate of the city of Winnipeg, kind of reducing that heat dome effect with its transpirational cooling and all that good stuff. Ultimately, all that shade that I'm looking to get will come from those beautiful broad leaves that the maple produces. It's a personal favorite leaf of mine. I'm a bit of a tree nerd myself. I am an arborist, so I do have my favorites, not gonna lie. The maple is right up there. I know I'm a little biased because I'm Canadian too, but the silver maple leaf in particular has a very radically serrated edge. It's got these deep lobes. It's got this long petiole, and it's a nice broad leaf that hangs on it. And the chlorophyll and the chloroplasts of the leaf really show out as a vibrant, bright green color on top. But on the bottom of the leaf, it's almost like a dusty silver white color. I really wish I had an example to show you guys, but we're in November here, and this guy didn't hang on to his leaves for that long. With those big broad leaves casting so much shade, and hanging off such a long petiole. When the wind catches it, those leaves start to shake and the silver and green sides start, and that's when this tree really comes to life. I love this tree in the wind. It's just aesthetically just beautiful. Love it. Once the chlorophyll and those chloroplasts starts breaking down, it starts to reveal all the underlying carotenes, and the bright green leaf just turns into this vibrant yellow color. For whatever reason, the petiole turns red. I think that's a factor of the anthocyanins in the petiole. But you get a bright yellow leaf on a bright red petiole in the fall. And so just year-round, from leaf out to leaf drop, this tree is just aesthetically gorgeous. I love it. And those broad leaves, in the summertime, once the stomata start opening, starts drawing all that water out from those fibrous root tips and up through the xylem, and evaporating it into the yard, I'm hoping that transpirational cooling will bring things down by a degree or two here. You know, maybe I'm a little hopeful for that, but I think this tree is going to provide me with some gorgeous shade, some transpirational cooling. I think it's going to be a boon to the microclimate, the mesoclimate, like I said, and yeah, those are some of the reasons that I've chosen 𝘴𝘢𝘤𝘬𝘳 silver cloud as my shade tree of choice for my backyard. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on it. Another thing I was curious about, if you guys have any insights to this, is there's a very prominent, I don't know if this is a node or if this is a sign area where a scion was grafted to a rootstock, because it is a little bit thicker under that node. So part of me is thinking that may be the grafting site where the scion was grafted to the rootstock. If you guys have any insight to that, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, that's my presentation. Thanks a lot, and I really look forward to seeing your projects. Thanks.